Welcome to the Classroom Connection, the show that takes you inside Marion County Public Schools. I'm Kevin Christian, your host for the day. Now, over the next 30 minutes, you will learn what credit recovery is all about, why we offer it, and even how valuable it truly is. We'll keep things on target by telling you why one local elementary school has weapons on campus on a daily basis. And we'll see how successful a 4-day week has been for one of our local high schools. Up first, though, it is money. It's a tough subject, especially for public education these days, but it's also a topic that we've devoted a lot of time to right here on the Classroom Connection. And it is the month of June, and this means the next school year is already well underway when it comes to the budget planning process. Superintendent Jim Yancey joins me now, along with Teresa Boston-Ellis, who is our finance guru, director of finance services, all those fancy words, Teresa. Thanks to both of you for being here today. My first question, which I've already kind of forewarned you guys, what's the latest from Tallahassee? It's June now, so what do we know that we didn't know 2 or 3 months ago?
Well, surprisingly, there's no real new news, and that's a good thing. It's stayed pretty stable since I guess March. We've been kind of waiting, and we thought there might be some items that were changed at the end, but they were not. And so we're pleasantly surprised that there weren't any changes, first of all, and that overall it's it's much more positive than we thought it was. It's still not, I mean, if you look back to 2008, it's still way down, but yeah, it's much more positive than we thought. It looks like it's about almost a break-even year for us.
Okay, I know at some point we were talking upwards of $20–25 million less this year than what we had last year. What happened with all of that?
There was $1 billion infusion of cash into the K-20 education system, and it was a desire of the governor, and the legislative body followed his desire. Typically, it's the governor is very he's very generous with funding, and then the legislators come in and sort of pare back that funding, but they were pretty much on par with what his request was.
But let's speak realistically here in the fact that last year $2 billion was cut from public education throughout the state of Florida. So we're not talking about $1 billion bringing us back up to where we once were.
Correct. We are still below the 2009-10 year in terms of funding.
Now, over the last 4 or 5 years, we've been cut over $50 million. How do you save that kind of money?
You do a laundry list of items that are not necessarily desirable.
Right.
And we send a lot of teachers from the district office back to the classrooms. We went on a 4-day summer school.
Which we're doing again.
Correct. To do things like save energy. We've not filled vacant units. Pretty much we've done those kinds of things since 2008-9.
And what about positions? I know that we have some art music positions that are shared between schools. I presume that's something that we're looking at continuing doing unless things suddenly get better.
Well, those are all decisions we'll make this month, although it's pretty obvious to me that that's what we have to do. There's no way for us to move forward with hiring certified teachers in those positions right now, so we'll try and figure out what's the best thing to do. But you've got art, music, libraries, media personnel in there. Yeah, reading coaches are in there as well. Lots of positions that are in there that we really need to make up and get into our classrooms. They're key positions, but they're not core positions. And really we're focused on, unfortunately, in the state of Florida, they're focused on that core curriculum and what's required for class size reduction. And so those are the things we'll focus on first, and then everything else is secondary. And like Teresa said, the main place you can get money now, because what she didn't say was we've cut an awful lot of other things that she knows about, items, small capital expenditures that we have just eliminated, and now we're down to cutting personnel, or not replacing personnel is probably the right thing to say. We have a multitude of positions, less than 100, but more than 50 positions at the county level, I think, that are still just sitting open that we're just not replacing. And it's people like you that are, doing 2 jobs instead of 1, and so we've had lots of people take on additional responsibilities that they've never had before.
Exactly, and I'd like to add that in our budget, 82 to 85% of it is salaries and fringe. So that doesn't leave much less.
And I would think that's probably the case with multi-million-dollar companies.
Correct.
The largest cost is always personnel. I'm going to throw out a term here, and I know you're going to laugh at first, but I want you to clarify it for our viewers. Tell me about found money.
Well, I'll tell you, from my perspective, it has nothing to do with being found. It's
Right.
money that was budgeted earlier in the year in our original budget, and at some point in February, when we hit the end of January, the 1st of February, we stopped spending the money. Unfortunately, we have an antiquated tracking system, financial system that Teresa and her staff have somehow figured out to keep kicking and manipulating a little bit so that it still works. But honestly, the system doesn't allow us to track the fund balance as closely as we like, or would project it as close as we'd like. And that's one of the things we're hoping to remedy this year, actually get a new system in place that'll help us be a little more, a little better with our projections. But it's not found money. It's money that was already budgeted that we simply decided not to spend for whatever reason. It may be in, let's say, substitute teachers that
Right.
we got the principals to share. When a teacher's out, they split those kids up and send them to other classrooms so that we don't have to spend $75 on a teacher or $65 on a teacher, a substitute teacher to go in those classrooms. It could be that. It could be simply that we're hiring what we call certified subs, people with bachelor's degree, to replace a teacher who's out on maternity leave. And we only pay them $100 a day.
And the savings comes because the district doesn't have to pay benefits on that.
That's correct.
Correct.
And we're not paying the full salary for the other teacher, unless, of course, they've got accumulated sick leave and things like that.
So there is this belief in the community that found money was hidden somewhere, when in reality that money is part of that salary that's not being spent, if you will.
Correct.
I know in my department and all of the departments at the district level, we had to submit purchase orders. We had to have everything approved starting back in January.
Right.
And that normally didn't happen until
Later.
March or April.
Correct.
But this year it was pushed back much further. So,
Well, we get an energy budget, for instance, and that's probably the best example of one that every year has gone down as we've done better job each year with energy reduction. It's actually helped quite a bit, and even though we've added square footage, our energy costs continue to go down, and that's just a matter of people doing a really good job in that department.
we've just got about a minute and a half left, but how we managed to do this, to cut this kind of cost, $51, $52 million, go through the whole budgeting process and not lay off a single person? How do you do that?
Well, we did it through attrition. That's really what happened.
And we're continuing to do that.
And we're continuing to do it through attrition. We just don't replace people when they leave. There are some positions we had to have somebody for acquisitions and purchasing, rather.
Right.
We had to have somebody eventually, so we had to hire somebody. But that department at one time was 5 or 6.
Correct.
And it went down to 2 or 3. And
Yes, at one point it was 2 people.
yeah, at one
Right.
point, and without a leader, if you will, and so
Right.
finally we had to hire somebody, and so we got somebody in that position, and they're doing a good job. But that's really how we've done it, is through attrition. Fortunately, we've had enough people leave the district in a variety of positions that we've been able to simply not replace and absorb. In many cases, they're teachers. In other cases, they're custodial. We've done it with outsourcing of custodial. Right. But you remember, the school board has chosen not to close down schools like Seminole and Volusia County
Correct.
have done, and they've chosen not to outsource transportation, and we did outsource custodial, and that's been a savings in every school of at least $100,000 every time we do it in every school. It saves us about $100,000. So those are the kind of things we're doing.
Well, it's a good segue, because the school board now basically takes the budget and goes through it and kind of gives its stamp of approval on this and that and what they want other funding for. So that's the process where we find ourselves now. In June and July and August, the school board will actually vote on the budget in the first part of September. So the process that's taking place now is probably the final part of the process.
Right.
overall.
And we do have to have a balanced budget.
Right.
And we will have a balanced budget.
Okay. Thank you, guys. I appreciate you both being here. I know you're busy and it's the end of the year and things are crazy, but I appreciate you making time for us today.
Very good.
No problem.
Thank you.
Another option for new revenue is increasing millage, which school board members are putting before voters come August 14th. Here's a look at what's being proposed. Come August 14th, Marion County voters will approve or reject 2 proposals to increase school funding. Both are based on millage increases, which would affect property owners throughout the county. The first half-meal resolution would pay operating expenses to have art, music, and library programs at each school, including media specialists. Today, at least 8 elementary schools share music teachers and 10 share media specialists. This half meal will also pay for reading coaches at each school, specific summer school programs, and after-school tutoring. Finally, the half meal will also fund credit recovery classes to prepare students for college and the workplace. The half meal would also affect property owners only and would generate an estimated $7 million each year for 4 years. Voters will also decide on a second and separate half meal for capital improvements. Both ad valorem increases cannot be used for salary increases. The estimated $7 million per year would help pay for schools and district projects like painting, flooring, heating and air conditioning systems, and roofing projects. The half meal would also fund technology needs and help the district develop and operate its own alternative school instead of contracting outside vendors for that service. Both half meals for operating expenses and capital improvements would last 4 years, raising a combined $14 million each year. For the average homeowner with a house valued at $125,000 with homestead exemption, both ad valorem increases would translate to about $10 each month, or about $125 each year. Again, voters have the final say on these 2 millage increases come August 14th. We encourage you to become educated on the issues and voice your opinion. Another money-saving idea was a 4-day school week, but that's pretty much been nixed at this point. However, one of our local high schools has embraced the concept, holding class Monday through Thursday and shutting down every Friday this school year. Tom Lauder and several students explain why the concept is working for MTI.
Some of the stuff that has happened down the highway in the last
Even though the 4-day school week was considered by the district as a significant cost savings measure, it was not adopted. What MTI has been doing for over 1 school year, they see now there is no end in sight with all the rewards the students feel they are receiving.
What about a 4-day school week? That way we could reduce student transportation costs by 20% and reduce costs to the district by 20%. So we saw that as a great positive opportunity and then began having conversations with the district as far as what we needed to do to implement that here. Monday through Thursday. On Fridays, our faculty comes in every other Friday and we have what we call a Faculty Friday. On that Friday, we spend 4 hours together doing staff meetings. We do all sorts of staff development. We work on team projects and organizing our curriculum together. And it's wonderful, concentrated quality time that we have together every other week.
Well, that lets us know how the staff feels about their Friday. How about the student's perspective?
And I'm part of Marion Technical Institute. I'm part of the Law Academy. Fridays are off for me. It helps me to go for internships, find jobs, catch up on my schoolwork. It gives me the opportunity to work on my skills of learning and math and reading English.
I'm in the IT Academy, which is computers, and the 4-day week really helps me with my internship. I got an internship through the school, which it was really hard to get outside the school, so it's good to have connections. My internship deals a lot with IT, so definitely it helps in the field that I want to do. And having the 4-day week, I can go on Fridays and get more experience and have that internship and have that job to earn more money and stuff to get future career experience.
The 4-day school week here at MTI is really good. We have more class time to make up for our days off on Friday. Even though it's a longer day, I think it's worth it. We get to spend more time in our academies, so it helps us in the job that we want to go into.
Yeah, it really has. I've learned a lot. I've gotten more stuff in. I'm passing. I'm getting better grades than I was in my base school because it allowed me to get more hands-on training, teachers and all. So yes, the 4-day school week has helped me, and I know it has helped a lot of other students as well.
The longer class periods gives you time to talk about the same thing, so you won't have that break and time to forget. It just lets you get the full thought out and the full lesson throughout, so it's just easier learning. Teachers are more willing to help since they have less students. They have more time to help me, and my grades have improved a lot.
Having a Friday off is just another great way to extend the curriculum beyond the classroom and give them some real work experience to get their arms around the real world opportunities that are out there.
The payoff also includes a 20% savings for students when it comes to gas for their cars and a 20% utility savings for the school itself. One program our district offers is especially important this time of year. It's called Credit Recovery, and it offers a second chance to struggling students. Here's Chadwick Pierce with that story.
For those students who fall behind and need to make up credits or retake a test, there's help.
Credit recovery is a way that students who are credit deficient, you have to have 24 credits to graduate from a Florida high school. Students who are credit deficient because of failing courses can recover those credits by a variety of means.
Marion County is working hard every day to give its students everything they need to succeed and save time.
They can always retake a course, but obviously that takes a lot of time. A student's already sat in a traditional class for 135 hours of regular instruction. So what we normally do with credit recovery in high school is use a program called Play-Doh, which is an online courseware piece of software where the students can take courses, work at their own pace, and they're mastery-based courses.
Saving a dime, like always, has been just as important as saving time, and this program seems to be worth every penny.
We earned over 1,000 credits last year and are on track, I believe, to meet or exceed that number this year. So you think of the number of students we have in high school earning an additional 1,000 credits. That's an awful lot of FTE money that's being saved for students that would have been a fifth-year senior.
Being able to make up credits and save money in the district is nothing new, but the process for a student to begin recovering may be.
Most students know at this point all the different ways that they can remake a credit, but the process here at Forest High School is that they would make an appointment with their guidance counselor, and then we would discuss, based on their credit history, what exactly they needed to do to get back in line to graduate.
Where would a student be without this program?
2 to 3 credits behind in high school and maybe having to stress over the summer to make sure that I'm on task next year.
Less stress and not having to attend summer school would make any student feel better about this program.
I love it. I mean, I love being able to make up my credits. I thought that I wasn't going to be on track to graduate and I was going to have to take maybe summer school to get back on task, and it's much faster, you know. I can accomplish my credits really quickly and seamlessly, and I can do multiple credits at a time, and it's great.
There's another positive point to share, and I think Andrew says it best.
High school is where you set your future and where you decide where you're going to be after, you know, and how you're going to make money, and this gives you the opportunity, like it's a redo. You get to fix your mistakes from your first year and second year of high school and get yourself back where you need to be.
Some credit recovery courses are even available with a Wi-Fi connection, but all testing must be done in person on campus to preserve the integrity of the process. Well, just a few weeks ago, 372 videos produced by students battled it out to become Best of Show winners at the 11th Annual Marion County Student Media Festival. There were 4 Best of Show winners. Here's a look at one of them from Denellen Middle School.
That's right, punch him! Punch him! Punch him! Wet Willie!
Yo, twerp, I'm gonna get you, man.
Hit him! Come on, hit him! Hit him! Kick him! Wet Willie! Wet Willie! Loser! Loser! Oh, the bell's ringing.
Do you have a tardy pass? Yes, ma'am. Oh, thank you.
Over the next 3 months, we'll show you the other 3 Best of Show winning videos. Our district has a strict no weapons policy, so it might surprise you to know that 3 of our schools actually allow weapons on campus on a daily basis. Now, previously, you may recall on this show, we've shown you the rifle team at Vanguard High School and the archery program at Liberty Middle School. Now, it's College Park Elementary's turn to show off its championship caliber marksmen. Here's Joel Hartley to explain.
Initially, we had a lot of hesitation when it comes to archery. A lot of the administration had a concern about the safety, especially putting bows and arrows on a 3rd grader, 4th and 5th. It took a little while of talking and convincing and talking about the safety. There's never really been an accident in the archery program, so that's something that is very positive about the program.
Something else very positive is the success College Park Elementary's archery team has had at the state level. In 5 years of competing, the Huskies have never finished lower than 3rd, taking 1st in 2009. With that kind of track record, there's never a shortage of archers.
The kids are very motivated to be on the team. Unfortunately, there's only 24 students that are allowed to participate, and out of the 24, it has to be a certain percentage of girls and boys. So I have to, throughout the years, we had to do a tryout just to pick, the top 24 students to represent the school. We look at their discipline, their behavior. We also look at their grades. They need to have a C average or better. And we have to make sure that they have the skills that are required. They got to be able to hit the target. Good shot. A lot of the students that have been in the program that they're putting a lot of more effort in the school, in their assignments and their school grade. It's a motivator, you know, to them because they understand that if they do not have the grade, they will have to depart or they'll have to leave the team.
I used to have an S, and now I have all E's in PE. So I think that learning this skill and that acing the tests for archery have helped me get my grades up a little.
My grades have gone up a whole lot. I went from a D to an A, and my coach, he helps us. He gives us like math on how much, which way you turn it, which way to make your bow, how hard it is to pull it back, and how good to focus.
Tests, math. You'd be surprised at just how much education is involved in archery.
If we talk about the physical education aspect of it, obviously we're talking about upper body strength. Our archers need to be very strong to be able to draw. We don't have any sights, so they have to do their best to aim precisely. They have to be good listeners. They have to follow directions. They have to be very skillful. Obviously, there's a lot of eye and hand coordination. Now, when we look at the curriculum, we talk about history. Prior to them shooting or competing, we go through a series of classes to teach them about the history of archery. We have other aspects when we talk about the social studies aspect of it, when we talk about our Indian heritage. So when you look at all of that, you also look at being responsible, tying in the safety, and also the coordination. And so all of those aspects together is what makes our curriculum so good.
Ultimately, archery comes down to the individual, alone at the firing line, and that has had a tremendous effect on some of the students.
When I started shooting, I felt relaxed, calm, released, and I didn't feel really bad. If I was angry, I felt calm.
The most fun part is when you're standing there and you feel like you're right on the spotlight, and when you shoot, you just feel like you can do anything.
It'll be interesting to see how one of this year's most popular films, The Hunger Games, impacts participation in the archery program this coming school year. Well, he was with us earlier on today's show, and now he returns to share some important information, especially with the adults in our community. Here's our superintendent, Jim Yancey, with this month's Superintendent Spotlight.
Hi, I want to take this opportunity to congratulate all of our seniors who just graduated from high school. I hope they have a great college career or enjoy their workforce, whatever workforce job they occupy. I also want to congratulate all those students that are moving up to middle school and even those that are coming into elementary school for the first time. I know it's going to be a great year, and parents, I hope that those of you with kindergartners coming in, please get your child registered. On another note, a political note, I hope that each of you parents out there and anybody 18 years of age or older who's not a registered voter will go do that this summer. There are some key races going on and some key elections going on that will impact our school system in a great way. Superintendent of Schools elections coming up, and I hope that you'll take the opportunity to study those candidates and take a look and see whether or not they have the education requirements that you expect, whether or not they have the experience you expect and the vision that you expect to see out of your next superintendent of schools. In addition, you've got school board races coming up, and all of those take place on August 14th. So they'll be coming back really the second day that teachers report in the fall. Not the students won't even have returned to school. So I'm hoping that you'll take that opportunity to do that. And on that same date, we do have our 2 half-mill elections going on. One, to try and keep music and art in our schools the way we'd like to, with certified teachers teaching those classes, as well as a lot of our dropout prevention programs will be supported by the money, the $7 million that could occur if we get that half-mill. The other side of the half-mill election, there are 2 elections. The other side of the half-mill deals with capital funds, and it's mainly maintenance is what it is. Maintaining the school roofs, maintaining the HV air conditioning system, heating and air conditioning systems in our schools. Those are key things as our schools age into the 20 and 30 year process. Some of those systems need to be replaced and have to be replaced. And finally, improving our technology in our schools and keeping up with today's needs. With all the end of course exams that we now have to take online, it's paramount that we get those things done. Without those 2 elections, we don't feel like, those 2 referendums passing, we don't feel like we'll be able to do that. So please, please, please get out and vote. Register to vote first and get out and vote Tuesday, August 14th. Thanks, and have a great summer.
Thanks, Mr. Yancey, and thank you for joining us today. We hope you have a safe summer, and we also hope to see you again real soon right here on the Classroom Connection. One final note, though, parents, remember, be there for your child every day.